Rap beefs has always been rooted in hip-hop culture, but Marley Marl's beef with popular rap group in the 80s, UTFO, over a failed appearance at a radio promotional show would start a rap war for a 15-year-old Shantae, who dropped the first diss record on Wax in 1984 called Roxanne's Revenge, and ultimately caused the biggest rap war in history with 40 to 100 answered records. This beef was highly popular and acknowledged that rap beef can be the ultimate promotion. This would change the way rappers beef forever.
Roxanne battles remain significant in the history of hip-hop as the moment when rappers discovered that dissing other artists on Wax could both start careers and sell records.
Hit 'Em Up is known as the greatest diss record of all time, which is often debated with No Vaseline or Ether. 8 months after Tupac was released from prison on October 12, 1995, he would drop Hit 'Em Up as a diss to Biggie and Diddy as a record label and as a crew. It would become the greatest diss record of all time, stripping Ice Cube's 1991 No Vaseline. Giving that This Is Like KRS-One's The Bridge Is Over or Jay-Z's Takeover is never mentioned in that debate. But 27 years later, Kendrick Lamar would drop Not Like Us as a diss record towards Drake. That would bring up the topic of the greatest diss records of all time once again, now with Kendrick's name in the mix. So who really has the greatest diss record, Tupac or Kendrick? Before Tupac went to prison, he was shot 5 times, and initially he was blaming Biggie and Puff for it. But Tupac didn't really think Biggie set him up. He was just paranoid at the time. He believed Biggie knew who did it, but didn't say anything about it to Pac. When Tupac would begin to serve his time in prison on February 14th, Biggie would release Who Shot You on February 21st while Pac was still in prison. That fueled an already down bad Tupac's anger. Biggie said on the track, "It's on, nigga. All that bickering beef. I can hear your sweat trickling down your cheek. Your heartbeat sound like Sasquatch feet, thundering, shaking the concrete." The media and fans ran with the narrative that it was about Tupac, even though Biggie was saying otherwise, that it was written before he was shot, but they knew what they were doing when they actually released it.
Your label dropped a song, Who Shot You? Who the f supposed to be about, bruh?
It was a time Biggie was getting very popular on the music scene, and it was alleged that it was done purposefully to increase Biggie's record sales. At the time, Tupac stayed in the news because he was just shot and he was fighting a case. It seemed like Bad Boy was trying to use Tupac's suffering to sell records, and on the other side, continued to be trolled by half of New York. When Tupac was released, he would begin working on his 4th album, All Eyes on Me, and recorded the original version of Hit 'Em Up in October of '95. But when Tupac and Faith Evans was hanging out, she heard the beat, and then she went back to tell Biggie and Diddy.
I believe the beat for that Hit 'Em Up got leaked out, I guess because Faith Evans heard it. She went back and told Biggie and them, and they did a song and they stole the beat.
That's why when they dropped the Get Money remix, it had the Dennis Edwards sample on it. Once Tupac found out, he would change the song, could change the Get Money, flip it into Take Money, and it wouldn't be released until February of '96.
Love when they argue the hardest MC. Is it K-Dot, is it Aubrey or me?
But 28 years later, what started out as mutual respect for one another, Drake showed Kendrick a lot of love, but over time, it would show that Kendrick Lamar has no respect for Drake. When First Person Shooter was released in 2023, Kendrick Lamar wasn't too happy that his name was being mentioned, because him and Drake have been subliminally dissing each other for a decade, and he believes he's better than him and J. Cole and didn't appreciate his name being dropped. So much so that when Metro and Future dropped their album called We Don't Trust You in March of 2024, Kendrick was featured on Like That and was sending clear shots to Drake and J. Cole saying, "The big three, nigga, it's just big me, nigga, bam." It was clear that J. Cole and Drake had to respond to this, but while Drake was near the end of his tour, J. Cole was being hyped up to release a diss track towards Kendrick. And 2 weeks later, on April 5th, J. Cole would release his Might Delete Later mixtape that would have his diss towards Kendrick called 7 Minute Drill. But a few days later, would let Nas down and apologize.
When it comes out and I see the talk, that shit don't sit right with my spirit. That shit make me feel, that shit disrupts my fucking peace.
But when Push-Ups would somehow leak on April 13th, allegedly by Drake, he would start to make false claims saying that Kendrick's wife be with bodyguards like Whitney. It had the world convinced that Drake already won the beef and started celebrating and trolling Kendrick too early. It would be a common theme for Drake to troll Kendrick, and in order to get ahead of the PDF claims, he would utilize AI Snoop Dogg and Tupac and TaylorMade. Drake thought he was gonna get a Meek Mill moment and send more bottles to Charlemagne. But 2.5 weeks later, April 30th, Kendrick Lamar would drop Euphoria, and on the song, he basically mentioned how Drake asked him for a feature, and allegedly it was to be on First Person Shooter, and he declined. A few days later, Kendrick would go back to back and would release 616 in LA on May 3rd. reminiscent of when Drake released double diss tracks on Meek Mill. On 616, he would play psychological games with Drake and make him think there's an infiltrator in his camp. And later that night, Drake felt that pressure and dropped Family Matters, doubling down on his false claims about Kendrick and his wife, saying that one of his kids might be Dave Freeze, and a plan that was calculated and thought out. 30 minutes later, Kendrick dropped Meet the Grams, ruining the moment for Drake. And when the beat dropped and he said, "Dear Adonis, I'm sorry that man is your father, let me be honest," it was over. And he would continue the psychological games with Drake, making PDF claims on that dark Alchemist beat that many say is the real winner in this beef. However, May 4th will change hip-hop forever when he dropped Not Like Us, which is now being considered the greatest diss record of all time. But is it greater than Tupac's Hit 'Em Up? Not Like Us and Hit 'Em Up, both records had jaw-dropping moments revealing allegations about their adversaries. Hit 'Em Up was not just a diss record, it was a threat, while Not Like Us was calculated and savvy. Tupac opened up the song with aggression when he said, "First off, your chick and the click you claim," while Not Like Us gives you a head bop from the jump with confrontational bars like, "The industry can hate me, all in they mama, how many ops you got? I mean, there's too many options." Hit 'Em Up had that mean, rugged, and raw aggression that Not Like Us just didn't have. And Not Like Us was smart, calculated, and strategic, like when he said, "Once upon a time all of us was in chains, homie still double down calling us some slaves." That was very genius of Kendrick Lamar to connect with the audience that way. While Tupac had built up emotions that he took out on this record that he had waited months to get off his chest. And while Kendrick's hook was very catchy, "They Not Like Us" will be a saying forever. But Tupac had the better hook on Hit 'Em Up. It was just sharp. The "who shot me but your punks didn't finish, now you about to feel the wrath of a menace" was sharp. The violin, the woodwind instruments, and Not Like Us was heavy. The bully, the flow on them line was crazy because that's what he did. He carried that beat. His flow was unmatched. His rhythmic delivery is like, "Put the wrong label on me, I'ma get him dropped. Ay, sweet chin music and I won't pass the ox. Ay, how many stocks do I really have in stock?" Ay. Both records embarrassed and humiliated their opposition. Biggie wasn't too happy with Faith when he heard the allegations about her and Tupac, and had to live with hearing that record a lot uttering the lyrics. But this wouldn't affect Biggie's career, as he is revered as one of the greatest of all time. But Drake is a different situation because he made the weakest move in hip-hop history and filed a lawsuit with federal court implicating Not Like Us and prolonging a beef that he refuses to lose to, and has had the biggest meltdown that hip-hop has ever seen. Now, we haven't seen how this will affect his record sales just yet, so we can't say if it affected him fully yet. Even though Tupac was dissing Biggie and Diddy in this record, he took more shots at Mobb Deep, Chino XL, and Lil' Kim. He's seen pulling a wig off Lil' Kim's lookalike in the music video while saying he'll snatch your ass up off the streets, so fuck peace. It was a complete violation, lines that Kendrick Lamar would not cross and Not Like Us. But it created some moments and completely changed the last name of a person. Tabaka got a weird case and plays on Drake's insecurities, questioning his authenticity and using the culture for his benefit. Not Like Us was a cultural moment due to the state of hip hop, and the most stringent moment in Hit 'Em Up when he just goes off at the ending for 2 minutes straight. Biggie, Bad Boy as a staff, record label, and then as a motherfucking crew. And if you want to be down with Bad Boy, then you too. Just spazzed out. Not Like Us was a bigger record and most rewarded record, and I will give it to Kendrick for being a better song. But Hit 'Em Up was still a major record that I wasn't even born yet to witness, and I still feel the effects of it. Hit 'Em Up is the better diss record. Think of it this way: if someone made a diss record about you and it wouldn't ruin your career, which song would you not want it to be? He dissing people's mama in Hit 'Em Up. It's no question. Hit 'Em Up is the greatest diss record of all time.